Carpe diem, my name is Ultranatic, and here's another Total Drama vlog going again over Total Drama Island 2024. In today's episode, working K9 to 5. A plus freaking title, just like, no complaints, let's just move on, because that's already a great start. It opens up with the Hockey Bros feeling bad that they voted out Damien, since I guess he kind of acted like a big brother to them. It's funny because I would argue the Hockey Bros have big brother qualities in them too. Not the show, not that at all. Like actual, like older brother kind of scenario. But Damien was one of the mature sins, telling them not to do obvious, gross, unsanitary things. Again, weirdly, this doesn't gross me out in the slightest. That's when you know gross out humor works, because I do in fact like it a lot. Now, we're not seeing it, they're just explaining it. But explain it should be enough. But no, they make it funny. So, like they're really doing a great job with how they write these two characters. It's like, unlike Katie and Sadie, two people who knew each other on the outside as best friends before, they felt like basically the same damn character. I do think that Wayne and Raj are kind of different. And, well, I'm not sure how well I could explain that before, you know, aside from the fact that one of them had a crush on another guy, and the other one just knew about it and wanted to be a supportive friend. There is another thing that pops up later on, but we'll get to that. We see Priya is still mad at Caleb for supposedly making a deal with Julia behind her back, but Caleb explains that since he was on the chopping block, supposedly, I mean, the Hockey Bros kind of said otherwise, but alright, he wanted to stay to spend more time with Priya, which she accepts. You know, it's funny. Priya gets mad at Caleb a lot in the second half, and then forgives him pretty easily. On one hand, it's a little weird, but on the other hand, I'm not complaining because I like their chemistry, and it's at least a more complicated situation than some stuff we've seen before, so I can roll with that. We then see that Chris announces the next challenge is going to involve puppies. Something else I noticed is the Hockey Bros, when they are told us, oh, we love puppies, it's like if a dog and the dog had a baby. Chef's like, that's exactly what puppies are. Yeah, here's something else I noticed about why I like the Hockey Bros. Because there's a chance I wouldn't like them if it was just them being stupid and the humor ended there. No, the humor does often come from the reactions that the other people, especially Chris and Chef, give to a lot of the stupid stuff they say. And they do react a lot to that, and I'm like, you know what? That does make the bit work perfectly. So, no complaints. They understand the fundamentals of the comedy in this situation. So, like, kudos to the show for that one. And then Chris announces a very special guest. We already had Owen come back, and now we've got MacArthur coming back. This franchise really likes MacArthur, but along with them making it to the end in Redonkulous race, they also have been a fairly consistent supporting character in Total Drama Rama, and now they're here. Also, I don't believe I heard this before, but her first name is Valentina. I mean, interesting, but somehow that doesn't sound right. It's like if you found out Arnold Schwarzenegger's real first name was Bill. Bill Schwarzenegger. That doesn't quite sound right. Like, is it just me or is that... I don't know, but... Anyway, the dogs are revealed to be all vicious police dogs, including one little dog who looks more frantic and bug-eyed and whatnot, but they think, oh, he's cute, he's a little purse dog. But they're more vicious than they look. I've seen that joke, but I'm not opposed to it. It's like, I've seen the same joke regarding, like, the cute little bunny rabbit who's actually, like this massive monster. You see that in so many seasons of Total Drama, and honestly, that joke does not get old for me. They just know how to do it. The campers have 2 minutes to run from the dogs before the dogs chase them down, and if they're dragged back to the mat at the start, they get a strike. 3 strikes, and you're out. And the last one standing wins. Again, a very good idea for a competition. It's kept very simple, very basic, and it seems to work for me. So, the Hockey Bros, when they... by the way, every time they say 2 minutes, it's never 2 minutes. They literally just let them go, like, almost instantly afterwards. Hey, I'm not gonna front the host for choosing to mess with the campers like that. That's in bounds for me. So, the Hockey Bros come up with an idea, because the dogs are given their individual scents to follow them, so they each all have the same dog trying to chase him every time. And they say, alright, so they can smell our socks. So the way to best evade the dog is to eat our socks. Okay, not that that's not funny. But is this just a theme with this season? Because we had the same thing happen with Z earlier. He's like, I can't tell about Prelip's secret here. I'm gonna eat my shorts. And now the hockey bros doing the same thing. What is going on? I'm so bewildered. Just, I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just one of those things where, how is that the running gag we got going? I don't know, but yeah, it doesn't work, obviously. Julia tries evading them by hiding behind a door because, you know, dogs can't open doors. Oh, you watch too much Jurassic Park, ma'am. Anyway, it does find her and it actually eats her phone. Honestly, it's kind of horror movie-esque and I love it. Whenever this show does a horror movie, it just works. Okay, it's not a horror movie for real, but it felt like one for a second and I'm like, yes, more of that, please. So, we then see Caleb tackle Priya off a cliff to evade the dogs, which amazingly doesn't turn Priya against him very much, which is like, I'm getting some Twilight vibes from that. Okay, it's not that bad. At least Caleb and Priya have chemistry, you know, as opposed to Bella with either of their two guys. But yeah, Caleb is targeted by the mini dog named Booger. I don't remember every single other dog's name outright, but I remember Booger, because, yeah. Yeah, the mini dog nabs him, and so far that makes Priya the only person who hasn't been caught yet by one of the dogs. We see Chris, after Chris lets the dog go early again, Julia tries evading the dogs by jumping in the water. Which very clearly does not work because, I mean, last I checked, dogs can swim. In fact, there's literally a swimming stroke that's named after dogs. Doggy paddle. Hello. Whatever. Yeah, she gets caught again. The hockey bros try to climb up a tree to evade the dogs, which... Wait a second. That's actually a pretty good idea. I mean, at least on the surface. It's one of those things where, like, when they said, let's eat our socks, I'm like, okay, that's stupid. When they say, let's climb a tree because the dog won't reach us there, I was like, that might actually work. I'm sure the show would find some cartoonish way to make that plan not work, but at least it's not an awful idea on the surface. So, yeah, well, I'm gonna give a little clap for the hockey bros. You found the way to use your brains there. Wayne actually says, sometimes in school I'm so bored I actually try listening to stuff. Okay, so they do try learning. They got nothing, to be honest. Or they have almost nothing. They have a little something. There's that. Wayne makes it up to the tree, but the dog uses his teeth to chomp it down like a beaver. And I'm like I said, they found some way to make it so the plan wouldn't work, but not for lack of trying. Again, I'd say it was a pretty solid idea, at least in conception. Raj evades his dog by hiding in a shed and decides to take off all his clothes, as he says it. I'm like, oh, this show is making it too easy, I almost argue. Okay, not all his clothes. He keeps his drawers on. I don't know what to make with that. I mean, if they, like, we've seen the show censor out other parts, but I don't know what to make of this part. Anyway, then he dives away from the shed, and the clothes that Raj wore, which he put on a dummy inside the shed, because of course there's one of those, just eats up the whole freaking dummy at that point. The dog's the dummy in this case. So we see Julia gets 2 points first, and then Caleb gets dragged back. We're not shown how that happened. Maybe it was boring. You see, that's the funny thing. Like, you'd think that for this episode, they'd probably find a way to show how every camper gets dragged back every time, but there's at least 1 or 2 times where I don't think we're outright shown. So maybe it's as simple as just they try running and the dog caught up to them. Not that, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe you could have shown something a little more entertaining than that. It's not the worst. It's just one of those things where it's like, I'd like a little extra. That's a nitpick, though, to be honest. So we see Wayne trying to meet up with Raj after he evades the dog by climbing next to a nearby cliff. That's also very smart, so I guess they have a little brain between them. And then Wayne makes it to Raj's, the shed that he was in and finds his clothes demolished by a dummy. And he actually believes that the dummy was Raj. Okay. Hockey Bros, I love you. You're good, supportive dudes. This is just unrealistically stupid, even by your standards. I'm just thinking, like, what? Again, I'm not mad. I'm almost amused. Like, really? You're that stupid. That stupid. For real. Okay, it's not really a complaint per se. It's just something I can't help but find funny, just kind of for unintentional reasons. Like, I should find it funny because, yeah, they would be that stupid. No, I find it funny because there's no way they'd be that stupid. That stupid. Jesus. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Raj then comes back into the shed and reveals that, you know, he was okay and the reunion is pretty funny. And even Raj is like, I'm the real Raj. Hello. Okay, so between the two of you, I'm going to say Raj is the smarter one. Again, I said I think that there is a distinction. Yeah, Raj has just a teensy bit more brain. Like, marginal, but it's there. It's there. So, we see Julia trying in desperation to not get caught the third time, jumps into a dumpster to hide her scent. A very risky move. Even she's like, I don't know if I want to do this, but I also want to be immune. And I'll be fair, it's a good idea. Because it does keep the dog away from her, so kudos to that. And at that point, the Hockey Bros returned, and every camper now has 2 strikes, except Priya, who has zilch. So good for her. Julia decides to try and sabotage Priya now with a bucket of bacon grease. Where'd she get it? Probably the kitchen. But otherwise cartoonishly, it's funny where she just pulls out like a whole bucket full of bacon grease out of absolute nowhere. I find that very amusing. Yeah, we see Caleb tries evading his dog by being in a canoe out in the lake, but the dog actually comes up and catches up to him on a jet ski. If you thought the dogs from flying in the planes was crazy, okay, it was a little crazy, but this is a close second. I'm like, again, you gotta love this show. It's amazing. I love it. So, it's like, you know how innovative SpongeBob SquarePants could be when it came to some of its humor, to the point where I've probably not seen a full episode of the actual show in a couple years, but I still know quote after quote after quote after quote after quote from that show. This show could be something similar if you really got down to it. I don't know if it's as quotable, but it's as memorable in how well they pull off this cartoony humor. It is a freaking marvel. I adore it. So, the Hockey Bros get out next after Julia throws a chew toy at them alongside Priya. And he's like, where'd they get a chew toy from? To which Julia apparently ordered the same day. Sure, why not? Then we see Julia try and hide from her dog longer, finds the raptor from the last season to try and hide behind. Ooh, this is gonna be juicy. I'm talking about, you know, Julia's corpse, because, oh god, that raptor and that dog, there's gonna be nothing left afterwards. Okay, no, that doesn't happen, but obviously it's a ploy that doesn't quite work either. She's being dragged back, but at the same time, Priya gets dragged back. We're not sure how she got caught. But either way, with the Hockey Bros and Caleb now out, it is down to Julia and Priya. Julia is slightly closer to the map, but she figures, no, I'm not losing this challenge. I have the power of fake nails! And yeah, she just digs her fingers into the ground, and it does slow her being brought back just enough to where Priya gets eliminated and she wins immunity. Again, I gotta appreciate the work that Julia puts into these challenges. Again, this win is not being handed to her. She is working her tail off for it. And I gotta love that. So yeah, Julia tries convincing the Hockey Bros to vote out Priya because, yeah, it's going to be best if she breaks up that alliance. However, the Hockey Bros are not going to vote out Priya. They're going to vote out Caleb. Now, what swayed them? The moose. Even I was like, are we talking about Marcia from, like, Big Brother Canada? Marcia the moose or something? Like, what's going on? Apparently, it was a coin flip. They have a coin flip that had a moose on. It's like, heads we vote out one person, and then tails we vote out the other. It does land on the side that had Caleb. I forget which side it was. But it also lands in the toilet, because... I don't even know. So Julia, now realizing that she's got no chance of convincing these two dunderheads to change their vote, realizes that she has to take out one of them instead. Honestly, I probably should. They're a tight unit. I mean, yeah, Caleb and Priya are a tight unit, but less tight than the Hockey Bros. I think they said that they've been friends since they were toddlers. You're not breaking them up by any measure. So yeah, get one of them out. Get one of them out. It only makes sense. They never specify until the marshmallow ceremony which one they're targeting, so that does keep you on your toes a little bit. But yeah, Caleb then accidentally confesses to Priya that Julia owns his vote, which of course makes Priya mad, and I'm like, I can't say I'm shocked, but it's also one of those things where, Caleb, you're not that stupid, right? Okay, it's not as stupid as when Wayne thought that Raj's body had literally been chewed up and everything when it was just a dummy. But stupid for Caleb. Like, why would you spill that information? That's ridiculous. So, yeah, he tries talking to Priya, and she, of course, being mad about knowing this deal too, because it does kind of go back and forth, which I'd find irritating if I honestly wasn't a little entertained by it at the very least. And surprisingly, Julia comes to say, you gotta save your boyfriend. At first I was like, I was wondering, why exactly are you trying to keep Caleb safe? Like, I know Priya's probably less valuable to you than him, but again, I was if you want to save him because you think he might be in trouble and you gotta still use Caleb's vote next round, that's one thing. That being said, I'm still under the speculation that Julia stole Damien's idol, which means she'd be safe at the Final Four anyways. She's got, if I'm right, she's got a ticket to the Final Three right there. Why does she need Caleb's vote anymore? He's a strong dude. Get him out. You don't need him. He'd be tougher competition down the road or something like that. Just work. If the Hockey Bros are for sure gonna get out Caleb, you can just do that. But if you think the Rift is stronger, something, I don't know. I'm not mad or anything by that. It's just one of those things where it's not the most ideal situation in some respects. In some respects it is, because getting out the Hockey Bros is a more tight-knit unit. But they're also not much in the way of competition at this point. In fact, on the other hand, if you brought the Hockey Bros to the end, you'd kind of win because they're not going to be focused. You would be. So, I don't know. Just do what you gotta. Hello, Julia. It just makes more sense to me. Whatever. So yeah, she goes to Priya and say, save your boyfriend. It's up to you two. And, yeah, Priya does save Caleb. And between the Hockey Bros, they vote against Raj. Again, I think between him and Wayne, given what we saw in this episode, Raj is probably the smarter one. Again, by just a hair. So yeah, he gets sent home. Of course, Priya and Caleb again kind of make up and kiss. And again, I can't hate this chemistry. Again, I don't know why I keep comparing them to Gwent, because they do not deserve the comparison. But if you want to go with another big showmance that had a complicated relationship where they weren't necessarily talking, these two talk, and when they do talk, I actually feel something. With Gwent, nada. And I should. It's the cool guy and the god. There should be a way to make this work, but it just didn't. They just had nothing in the way of a dynamic. At least these two do. And as cute as them making up is, you know what's even cuter? Seeing Raj saying his exit interview that he and Bowie are gonna go out on a date. Which I was kind of under the impression you already had, but I don't know, it's cute either way. And we get a very emotional goodbye from Wayne when he hugs Raj goodbye, and I'm like, you two really are best friends. Again, Katie, Sadie, learn something from them. Please. Okay. And, yeah, that concludes the episode. Well, except for one joke that I'm gonna be honest, I don't quite get, where when Chris is doing his goodbye interview and stay tuned on the next episode, yada yada thing, Wayne's still in the background, and Chris is like, what are you still doing here? I don't know. Is that it? Is that the whole joke? I think you should have cut that out. You could have spent that time showing how one of the other people got caught by the dog. I don't know what that was like. I'm not saying it bombed. I just don't get what the punchline was, but whatever. But otherwise, yeah, that was Working K 9 to 5. Way less conflicting episode than the last one I dealt with. I like this one quite a bit, actually. And, yeah, again, it really saddens me after this. We got one more week of freaking total drama episodes to look over, because we still have no idea if this will get renewed for a third season or anything like that. But I argue that still, from what we've gotten this season, when the worst episodes, in my opinion, have still get at least a C grade, that's a damn good season of television for any caliber of show, much less from total drama. So I'm just happy that we've gotten what we've gotten from this show, and no matter what outcome would be coming from all this, but whether in-game, in episode, or in the outside world, I've been having so much fun talking about that, and I can't wait to see y'all in the next one. Take care.